Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Right, hi guys. Today we're talking about Doctor Who. I'm joined here by Max. Hello, Max. Guest.
They are.
Hello. Did I think the Firefly got us in the mood. So yeah,
I have stew.
you have stew. What kind of stew do you have?
Vegetable stew.
Vegetable
It's got
stew.
like
Nice.
potatoes and onions and like split
Oh, nice,
peas in here as well.
nice, nice.
Split peas really thicken out a
Oh,
stew, you know that? Like,
does it? Does
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, because it's a little bit like lentils. Like you can put lentils in something
Yeah,
deliberately for them to like explode
thicken
and
it.
then the stain thickens it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got that. I
Oh,
think that's all going on.
I don't think I've ever made a stew, to be honest. Maybe I have to request that next
There's
week.
like there's definitely
No,
like a
stew.
sliding scale. It's really easy to make an easy stew.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Just cut out them vegetables, innit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Put them all in, yeah.
You appreciate my chef talk there.
Your chef talk, cut out the vegetables.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Turn on
all
the
great.
oven. Not for stew, probably, but um,
Fair. Yeah.
I will certainly use something in the kitchen. Anyway.
Um, oh, sorry. To our audience, if anyone's wondering why we didn't get copyright claimed for that Firefly intro, I believe the YouTube thing is you have to have 7 notes, and that's the limit, right? But
Yeah.
Solomon is so out of tune that I don't
I
think
have a
any of those
cold.
notes were right.
I have a cold, okay?
I've heard you sing without a cold.
Shut up. They haven't, so they don't
They-
know.
He's got a
Um,
great singing voice. We're awaiting a musical.
yes. And I got the words right. You was trying to remember the words beforehand, and you got them wrong. So I thought I had to outdo you there. So yeah, we're not talking about Firefly today, Max. And we're not talking about stew, unfortunately.
Welcome to Maybe It's Bunnies. That's the show you're listening to.
Oh yes, I forgot that part. That's what you're listening to. Maybe it's
He's
funny.
Solly. He's the host.
Yeah, yeah, and that's Max. He's the guest. All of our 4 viewers now has gone up. Uh,
Whoa.
yeah, we're
We're
doing
going for
Doctor Who.
3 minutes and we haven't talked about Doctor Who.
Well, Christmas got a beautiful Doctor Who calendar here. It's got a different
Yeah.
doctor for every day of the month, except the first Doctor doesn't get one. So
Every day, every month.
every month, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, okay.
there's not enough doctors for every day of the month. Um,
300. Oh, Doctor 363
yeah.
is the best
So
Doctor.
every Doctor gets a month, including the War Doctor and the Fugitive Doctor, who get to share months with other Doctors. But the first Doctor doesn't
Mhm.
get a month, and it's very sad.
What?
He
They're
gets
like-
the page before January.
How
But
dare they?
yeah, they should have just coupled him up with Patrick Sharon. Anyway, we're not. I'm not sponsored by this calendar. So what we're actually talking since the last Doctor Who one we did. There's been a lot of news actually because we filmed that one ages before it released, and then so in the time between it releasing, an episode came out which we reviewed and then lost the footage for. So we're not going to do that today. But in that period of time, there was more news, and then since then there's been even more. And I know you've heard about some of it, Max, but I don't know if you've heard about all of it. How
I've
much?
no.
No.
So I know. I kind of know. It's essentially I know what we knew when we recorded that sadly lost footage of that old one.
Yeah.
I know that they're returning for 3 specials.
Yes.
I know that the first one is going to feature Neil Patrick Harris. If he's
Yeah.
not the Celestial Toymaker, they have clearly missold this.
Yeah. We don't know if the first one's going to feature Neil Patrick Harris. We know he's in one.
It was in the trailers.
The trailers were for all three.
Oh,
though.
okay, I see. Okay. Anyway, one of them's going to have Neil Patrick Harris in it. He's already filmed it. They're all written by Russell T Davies in partnership with Bad Wolf Studios.
Yeah. Who
And
are owned by Sony. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, it's David and Donna. Sorry, the old listeners may not know that. It's David and Donna. You're listening to the Doctor Who thing. What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
But
I also, essentially, I don't know much more than that.
I know that you do know, and we're going to briefly touch upon it because I don't think it's the so we'll just get it out of the way with now. We know that Doctor Who's being distributed by Sony outside of the UK and Ireland.
I
know
thought it
you're.
was Disney Plus outside of the UK and Ireland.
Sorry, did I say Sony?
You
Sony's
said
Bad
Sony.
Wolf Studios. So Sony's involved because they own Bad Wolf Studios,
Yeah.
but it's Disney Plus, which are distributing it. Which previously it was Warner Brothers with HBO Max, and now it's moved to Disney Plus. So there's that.
I'm hoping it reaches a wider audience with Disney Plus.
Yeah, me too, and I'm hoping that will mean it will continue to get more and more funding. Because So we've also had some modern news and we've had some classic news. So I was going to ask you, do you want me to do modern then classic or classic then modern?
Before we go into the news,
Yes.
Before we go into the news, I would like to just quickly. I know we lost our review of the episode. I can't even remember what it was called.
Power of the Doctor was the episode.
Power of the Doctor. I have just one thing which I want to say about that. So anyone who hasn't seen the episode, you don't need to. It's rubbish. I
enjoyed it, but it is rubbish.
You did like 45 minutes on like how it's terrible but completely harmless.
Well, yeah, but it didn't find us child, so I was there just having like mind-boggling high levels amount of fun, but also like this is the most stupid thing.
Yeah.
But it's nice because we got to hear the Masters dance to Rasputin, and my brother goes Rishi Sunak versus Liz Truss. And if you're in the UK, that's funny because that was also the day that Rishi Sunak became Prime Minister, I believe, or it was around that time. And
they're directly correlated.
Yeah. That's why it went for that day. Yes.
I would say if you're like thinking about starting Doctor Who, don't start with that episode, but go on YouTube and find the Rah Rah Rasputin scene because it is incredible.
I think there's a 1 hour cut of it up. I think
a 1 hour cut,
or maybe that might be wishful thinking because I think I typed in 10-hour cut because that's usually how YouTube likes to do it. I think I found a 1 hour cut, or I might have just dreamt it because I do have dreams about that dance montage.
10 hours went. Can we do that? Do we? No, that would be copyright claimed.
Do you know what?
What?
What did you say? You just cut off again.
I said, could we do that? Could we put it out on the Maybe It's Bunny's YouTube?
I mean, it will get copyrighted, but we're not going to make money off it anyway, so we might as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't put ads on it, does it still count?
Yes. It depends. We might be able to get it up demonetized, or they might not let.
I don't know if there are ads on our videos currently. I don't think I can put ads on.
You can't put ads up on them yet. No,
we have 4 viewers.
Yeah, we need a certain amount of subscribers and watch time. So subscribe. Also, we still haven't started discussing yet. What were you going to say? Because you said before we get to the news.
I just wanted to mention the Rah Rah Rasputin, but
really,
I just thought, look, that episode's never going to come out, but that was a really funny bit from the episode. So
yeah. Okay, so one thing I do want to mention just quickly, our previous Doctor Who episode, we got a ton of predictions right, but it's also worth noting when we talked about things in the future, we were going under the idea that Ncuti Gatwa would be the one who Jodie Whittaker
regened into. I don't think anyone really predicted that.
What, the David Tennant thing?
Yeah, I think that was a really good twist.
I saw it going around a little bit, like 6 months before the episode came out, not in a big way, and I remember being like, that's stupid, and then it happened, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it was a pretty good twist. So are we doing modern news first or classic news?
Let's go with modern first, because we've just been talking about modern.
Okay, so we've got costume reveals for both the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, and Millie. Oh, yeah, that's the big one first, actually. We got a new companion reveal. Did you see that?
Yeah, she was on Children in Need, wasn't she?
Children in Need, yes. Yes, Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday. So, any thoughts?
I mean, yeah.
I think she's the youngest companion we've had in the modern era.
Is she? Let me look up a picture of her. What's her name?
I think she's 18.
Hang on,
Millie
I've
Gibson.
got to close Disney Plus. I've been rewatching Buffy, so I've got to close that.
Nice.
Anyway, Millie
Millie
Gibson.
Gibson. Yes.
Gibson. I'm on season 1, episode 5. It's pretty good. Oh, she's pretty young.
Season 1 is rough. Anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
have any opinions because I don't know her as an actor.
Yeah.
And so she might as well be anyone because I don't know anything about her character.
Yeah, but it was worth noting. But one thing, have you seen the costume reveals for her and Shu Gatwa?
No, I'll look them up now.
So I'm not a big fan of the 15th Doctor's costume, I'll say that. And then the companion's costume, Ruby Sunday's costume, it's a companion costume. The biggest thing.
Yeah, keep going.
The biggest thing from that is it does mean that this is probably a present day companion, modern time.
I mean, I could have told you that.
Yeah. Well, that has been the case for most of New Who. But I mean, now this basically is close as we'll get to a confirmation.
I think Nardole and Jack are the only companions that are not present day. And they're never the main. They're never the main focus. They're like the side companion.
Yeah. Yeah, both quite comic reliefy companions as well. So what do you think if you've got the costume reveals up of particularly 15th Doctor's costume?
Well, I'll start with what's Millie's character name? Ruby Sunday. Ruby Sunday. That's.
I don't know if I like that name.
Ruby
or not
Sunday kind of sounds like a drag queen. No, I like it. It's a cool name. Yes, Ruby. Yeah, I mean, she kind of just looks like all the other companions.
Drag queen confirmed, though.
Pulls off her face and is David Tennant. No, she can't. Skirt, jacket, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. That's like Amy and Clara, and there's all of them are just like that.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. Probably going to change episode to episode as well to an extent.
Yeah.
That might just be
Shooty
style.
What is Shooty wearing?
So he's got the brown jacket, brown trousers, red t-shirt.
What's he got around his neck?
He's wearing a necklace and rings, which I do like actually. He showed them off in a little video revealing it. He called them his Gallifrey rings, which is quite nice. Yeah. One thing I will say from the little videos they had accompanying it is it does seem to be that just the actors themselves have like really nice chemistry. Like they were laughing together and all that and making jokes at each other. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I mean, we don't know what the writing's going to be like, but I mean, that helps, I think, to have actors that get on and don't hate each other. So
I think orange is a strong color for his t-shirt.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair enough.
And people have been floating around the idea of variants of that kind of costume. Like we've got for a few variants for Tennant, and then we've got some from the Third Doctor with the same kind of style. So
yeah, they kind of always have like about 3 looks. Because like even Matt Smith had like 3 different coats.
Yeah, but all the same kind of similar style.
Yeah.
And Pete Capaldi's kind of changed one on a little bit. Yeah. So costume reveals, and then the big news which came out was we got details that there are actually going to be a 4th episode this year.
Oh.
So we got the 3 specials, and then we have a 3 60th specials, and then there's going to be an episode on Christmas Day. So the return of Christmas specials rather than New Year specials.
It's going to be so good.
And that will be Ncuti Gatwa's first main episode. So similarly to Tennant, his first episode will be a Christmas episode.
And Smith, really. And like all of them actually had their first main episode as a Christmas one, apart from Whittaker.
Did they?
Yeah, because they all...
Matt Smith didn't, I don't think.
No, he did, didn't he? I swear he did.
No, because David Tennant regenerated New Year.
Oh, he did. Yes, of course he did. Sorry, I am mistaken. You are correct. Capaldi did.
I think Capaldi did. Yeah,
because he had the dinosaur and no, actually, it wasn't. Maybe.
Oh no, I
No,
don't think it
no, of course
was.
it wasn't, because Matt Smith regenerates in the Christmas special because he's in a
Yeah,
town called Christmas, and that Christmas
yeah.
is really crowbarred into it. It's got nothing to do with Christmas.
Also,
It's a really good episode. I really like it. It's just got nothing to do with Christmas.
through Christmas, yeah. Also, fun fact about the Christmas specials: Capaldi's last Christmas special, the one with the first Doctor, which I hate that Christmas special now in retrospect. But that Christmas special was written by Stephen Moffat in about a couple weeks because he was told by Chris Chibnall, "Oh, I'm not going to bother doing Christmas special this year." So Stephen Moffat was like, "No, we must preserve the Christmas specials." So quickly wrote that so that Doctor Who could keep the slot, and then Stephen Moffat didn't use it anyway. So
Oh,
not Stephen Moffat, Christian Moffat didn't
Christian.
use it anyway. So that was worth it.
I mean, I
Yay!
think it's fair if you wrote it in like a couple weeks. It's not terrible.
No. And also, we got the
Yep.
and we also got the announcement on Christmas Day. They released a trailer for the 60th. Did you see the trailer?
For what?
The 60th anniversary specials released
I've
Christmas
seen.
Day.
I don't know. I've seen a trailer. I don't know if I've seen the trailer.
It was basically an extension of the Next Time trailer. We
I've
got
next time trailer a bit, and then a couple of other clips.
yeah, we got confirmation that Donna's mum would be in it. Which
Okay.
we kind of already knew. I mean, it wasn't confirmed, but it was to be expected. We got a very nice scene, which put my mind at ease a bit. But they're not going to completely gloss over the doctor. That Donna shouldn't remember the doctor. So we got
Oh, I
a
think I
scene
have
of
seen it. Yeah.
yeah, we got a scene of Donna's mum going, "He's not here. You can't see him."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I really like that. And then we also got Beep the Meep was in the trailer, or a Meep.
Who?
So Beep the Meep, stupid name, it is an alien from a 1980s, I believe, comic strip of Doctor Who, and he is in the trailer of this for the 60th.
Hang on a minute. No way. God.
So
That's
think of the
me.
deep cut reference.
Oh my goodness. This from like a I remember seeing this guy, and I thought, oh, that's nice because it's a puppet. But
Yeah,
I really like puppets, so that is so. I think this is Beep the Meep will be the new meme for this series.
yes, I think so too. So for all those people who want Daleks to return or whatever, screw it. You've got Beep the Meat back.
No one wants Daleks to return. They always return.
No, we need a break. So yeah, there was that, and then on Christmas Day, when the special, when the trailer released, Russell T Davies released this thing, coming out and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm writing the 2024 Christmas special today on Christmas Day." He started writing it.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
he's very prepared for the future, it looks like. He's writing two specials down the line. Nothing big there. I just thought it was quite nice. And then in December, the Doctor Who The Collection Season 2 box set released, and in promotion to that, they released a clip of Susan on the Doctor Who Instagram, I believe, of the Doctor talking to Susan, you know, the Doctor's granddaughter.
No, really?
Yeah, in promotion for the collection Season 2.
Yeah.
And Russell T Davies commented on that Instagram post, "I wonder what's going on with Susan now." So
That's the thing, because I've always wondered about Susan.
yeah,
David Tennant pulls that whole Last of the Time Lords shtick, where he's like, "I am the
yeah,
last of my," every single time, I was always thinking, "You're not. You're one
Susan.
of." Yeah, no, because you're one of three. because there are at least
Yeah.
there are at least two Time Lords who could not have participated in the Time War, and that's Susan and the Rani.
Mm.
Neither of which we have any conclusion for, I don't think.
I think they've done some big finish stuff with Susan.
They must have, because she's so...
She's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the ending for her, I haven't seen the episode, but I think she just gets locked out because the Doctor gets annoyed at her.
I haven't seen the episode. I am going through William Hartnell at the moment, but I did see. I think the clip was their last interaction,
Yeah.
and I think from what I could gather, she falls in love or something,
Yeah, she falls in love with David.
Yeah, and the Doctor locks her out like, you need to live your life. And I know he says for a fact, he says, someday I will return. And I think it'll be really funny if Ncuti Gatwa turns up to see an old Carol Anford, because I think she's in her 60s or 70s, playing an older Susan. And Susan's like, you took your bloody time, didn't you?
Yes. That'd be like... like the whole Sarah Jane thing, where he's like, "You said you'd drop me. Where do you know where you actually put me? Gates." I love that.
And narrate as well if she does come back. So Russell T Davies could just be trolling, you know, or it could mean she could potentially come back in the future.
I'm glad she hasn't been forgotten, because I do really like Susan.
Yeah, have you seen any episodes with her in?
No, it's so my classic Who, I've seen, I want to say like a handful of episodes, like I've seen the big famous ones, but I haven't ever got my hands on a copy of the collection, because they're quite pricey, if I'm honest. It was always like, if I ever made a ton of money, right, I was going to be like, I'm going to buy a load of the collection box set and then watch them all. But I didn't think it would ever be worth it buying individual episodes. But I know what happens.
Yeah. I like Susan as someone who's watching the first Doctor run, but she is very screamy. That's my only note to say.
I have seen. Hang on. Yeah, I have seen. Hang on. Let me just look this up so I get it right. Yeah, I've seen Peter Cushing's Doctor Who film.
That's from the 60s. Because Daleks were technically independent rights, so they're adaptations of 60s Doctor Who episodes.
And I've seen the version of Susan from that.
Yeah. I haven't seen
By the way, Peter Cushing film is worth an episode on its own, because it is weird.
I want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet, though.
I've seen it, but I haven't seen the original Daleks episodes that it's based on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is weird because it is also Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah. Yeah, so Susan may be returning, possibly. Okay, and then we've also got some other announcements. So we got the announcement the other day that in season 14, Kate Stewart would return.
Who? Why? Okay.
Yeah, excited? Unit lady?
Not really. Kate Stewart kind of had like a... Okay, Unit as a body I have mixed feelings on how they've been handled in New Who.
Did you not like it when they went bankrupt off screen? And then they wrote them into Flux?
I did look. Okay, we don't talk about Flux. I believe that they're a very useful tool. They're useful in some circumstances and they're inconvenient in others.
Yeah.
They're in the classic series, they definitely had a role to play, which was that the Doctor was an employee, there was all the in New Who, I really like Capaldi's interactions with Kate Stewart.
Yes.
I think they're really good. I like their appearance in Day of the Doctor.
Yes.
I think that's, even though it doesn't make sense, it's good.
Yes.
I dislike Matt Smith.
Matt Smith's only interaction with Kate Stewart was written by Chris Chibnall, and it was also Kate Stewart's first appearance, which means if she's in season 14, she'll be to be written by all three showrunners of New Who, and in the weirdest order, because she was written by Chris Chibnall, then Stephen Moffat, then
And then,
RTD.
yeah, I think ultimately, unit gets thrown into stories when it doesn't need to be.
Yes.
It didn't need to be in Flux. It didn't need to be in Para 3. It didn't need to be in the
Half of
what
Flux, mate, didn't need to be in Flux.
yeah. But yeah, so I think her being in it is like great, but
You
know,
need to use.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good for showing escalation. So in stories like I think it's Dark Water or the part 2 of that double two-parter. I don't know what it's called. It's Missy and the Sidemen, you know, like the second part.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's really helpful to have unit there because otherwise you're faffing around with like, oh, it's the Americans, it's the British, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And to
Unit
show
kind
that
of
like,
grounds it a little
yeah,
bit.
just to show the entire world is panicking about it. Unit is just like an all-purpose force, and that's useful.
Yeah. And the
Um,
interesting thing about Unit is, unlike Torchwood, they're much more controlled by
by what?
politicians.
Cut
By
out? You cut out?
politicians.
Yeah, yeah, they
That's
are.
always. They're also very, very interesting. I really liked. I think Unit's standout appearance was in Capaldi's Zygon two-parter. If you remember
Oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were quite. I haven't seen that in a while. They were quite good at that.
Yeah.
As I say, it's a time and a place for them, isn't it?
Yeah. I liked them in the 50th as well. That's with Smith.
What did they do in the 50th? Oh, Day of the Doctor. That's why I said yeah. Yeah. I said they're good, even though it doesn't quite make much sense, but they're good in it. Oh, and Truth and Consequences is good. That's the Zygon. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that two-parter. But yeah.
Even though Osgood is slightly annoying.
Yeah, but she always cosplays a different Doctor.
I don't care. She's irritating. She's like she's just like falls for everything. Like she's in the Missy episode, right? And she's just like standing there, and then Missy's chatting at her, and I'm like, could you not get a different scientist for this? Like, would you? What? Yeah, by this point, surely Kate Stewart must be like to the other unit guys, like, all right, we got her this super dangerous criminal / alien. It's locked up. Someone get Osgood to somewhere else because something's gonna happen to her again. Because it always does. Like, oh, you just have her transferred, really. Like, give her a desk job.
So mean.
Like,
brutally honest.
Yeah, you're an evil alien that's trying to take over unit. Osgood's just like a sitting duck shot, isn't it? It's like
so horrible. But
I've kidnapped one of your employees. Was it Osgood again? Yes. Oh, you could keep her.
Keep her. There's been 3 different ones anyway.
Yeah, they just keep replacing her.
Yeah. Anyway, after that shameless bashing of a poor scientist, along with Kate Stewart's announcement, they announced
she's just discount to Seiko.
Okay. They announced another guy joining the season 14 cast. Never heard of him, forgot his name, but in leaked images, he's on a vote for. I don't know his character's name, but vote for him poster. So he may be Prime Minister. Going for Prime Minister. And
the Doctor political.
Yeah. Yes. You know how much RTD loves Prime Ministers.
He actually had 2 of them, yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
3.
You know what I find? Is it 3?
It is 3 because there's Harriet Jones, MP for Fly Down North.
Yes.
There's of course. I've just had it and it's blanked. It's Howard Saxon.
Yeah.
And Prime Minister Green from Torchwood, Children of Earth.
Was RTD still involved in Torchwood at Children
of Earth?
I
think RTD wrote Children of Earth as like that was his story.
Yeah.
He was like lead writer on the others, but each episode was individually written. I think he was much more involved with Children of Earth.
Oh, I thought he'd already left Torchwood at that point.
Maybe,
yeah, that's cool. Unless you're technically, okay, not to be too technical with you, but RTD's actually had 5 prime ministers.
5?
So he's had the three you mentioned, but he also had the Slovene who was a prime minister for a little bit.
Yes, he wrote first, fifth, and third. The Slovene, I
Yeah.
think.
He had the Slovene who
That
was a prime minister
random.
for a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And you also see the body of the prime minister before that Slovene. So 5.
We do.
Not
We
to
do.
acknowledge you, but
I mean, if we're going there,
fake
he's very
bad.
much the most political. I know Moffat had one.
Yes, he did. But you know what I find interesting and hilarious
No,
about this
Moffat had
time?
two. Moffat had two if you count the time when the Doctor was the president of Earth.
Which of course we do.
We do, you do.
We're real fans, okay? What you know what I find hilarious though?
What?
So you know how this new actor guy, the leaked photos of Vote for Him leaked around the internet?
Yeah.
Some people, well, a big group on Twitter went, "Oh, so they're just redoing the Harold Saxon story again," and I'm like, "Really? Is that where we're going with this? You can't have someone being voted for prime minister without it being Harold Saxon again." Okay, guys, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, we know nothing about this story yet. That stuff might not even be in the final cut for season 14, and they're already jumping to the conclusion that we're doing a rip-off of season 3. Like, come on, Max, get your friends in order here.
Bye.
Yeah, Max started this on Twitter, okay?
I did. I'm an avid tweeter.
Also, more leaked season 14 photos. There was an alien slug which seemed to be absorbing something. So that's awesome.
Yep.
I'm calling it Absorbalov the Slug. And until I see the episode, no one can tell me differently. So that's fun.
Peter Kay reprises his role.
Yes, and then there was some announcements about season 14. The sad one being, this was along with Christmas specials returning, so I should have mentioned this earlier. Season 14 will only be 8 episodes.
Yeah, I know. I did hear this. I think it's a bit. I don't know.
And RTD did come out and say, guys, we'll do more. We're trying to restart the Empire here. This will be temporary, but 8 episodes for now. But then he also said that there's going to be no more gap years. Which I think, just like, please.
Yeah, I think that's the way forward. Like, they had how many episodes was in Peter Capaldi's last series?
Peter Capaldi's last season had 11 or 12. I think it had 12. It might have been 11.
It's like 11 or 12, right?
I think it was 12, and then with Whittaker it dropped down to 10, and then Flux was 8.
12 for Peter Capaldi. It's 12 to 13 episodes, right? Is the standard for Doctor Who. I think we should get it back up to that.
I'm also.
We don't want more than that because we're not an American show. We're British people. 6 episodes. That's a series.
In
America, 24.
Unless you're Disney Plus, but it's 2 episodes a season apparently.
Really? What was that?
No, I'm exaggerating. I'm just imagining all of this 6-episode Marvel shows. Come on, guys. At that point, just make a movie in it.
That's true.
But yeah, so 12 to 13 was the standard, but RTD has said about it going up. But you know what? I'd rather I'd rather have 8-episode seasons every year than under Chris Chibnall 10-episode seasons every other year.
That's true. Yeah.
No gap years. I can accept as lower episode count, especially if it's temporary.
Yeah.
And that's not including Christmas special coming back every year. So
I can 9 episodes is a fair enough series.
Yeah. And then I brought up the Kate Stewart thing earlier because I think this could be potential setup because it's been confirmed that they're working on spin-offs again.
Ooh.
So
interessante.
Unit spin-off?
I don't want a Unit spin-off. I don't.
Really?
So Unit have had spin-offs in the past. They've had one-offs. They've got a very successful Big Finish thing.
Yes.
And I think it's very good. I'm just worried that if Unit get a spin-off, it's gonna
Yes.
be. I don't know.
Well, here's
Doctor
the
Who is a
thing.
very
This is
look.
what a unit spin-off is, Max, really. It's a redoing Torchwood without having to bring in John Barrowman. That's going to be the reason they do it.
No, 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 no. And I'm gonna pitch you what I would do after I'm gonna tell you why I don't think they should do this.
Yes. Okay.
So A, Doctor Who is a very anti-military show.
Yes.
Whenever Unit are shown in Doctor Who, they are often shown to be slightly at odds with what the Doctor is doing.
Yeah, but then we had Torchwood, though.
Yeah. But Torchwood, was a couple people in the organization, and it was clear that the decisions that they were making were brutal, but they were that was it put you in that moral dilemma, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
With Unit, I'm afraid it might glorify use of excessive violence just because.
That's what Torchwood season 1 did.
Torture
I
season
felt.
1 did no, because
Torchwood
Torture
season 1 is.
yeah. That's that you had the cyber episode where they clearly weren't doing that. They were like,
Yeah, but I felt like a lot of the time Torchwood season 1, like, come on, the sex miss. Like, sure, they weren't doing that because they could be more, higher rating. Or whatever.
I think that I think showing quite a military organization trying to sort out alien problems might just I'd just be very pro-military or get quite political quite quickly.
Yeah.
I think maybe like I don't know, one of a side branch of Unit or like a smaller task force that wasn't really connected to it could work. Like,
a Unit show could bring in Gwen Cooper and Martha Jones as well, though.
Cooper and Martha Jones.
Okay.
They bring back Mickey. I'm in it for Mickey.
No, you've not seen what Nola Clark's been up to, clearly.
What's he been up to?
Let's not leveraging his position as a writer, director, and actor to have sex with women. Let's just not bring him back.
Let's not bring him back, but I'm still gonna love the character Mickey.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm like,
you have not slandered. He's my favorite of the. He's my favorite of the Nuku companions.
Is he?
Yeah, because he's like it's not isn't right. He really shouldn't be because there are so much more interesting storylines and all of that going around. I just really love him because he's the Nuku companion that really doesn't want to be there.
I ate the tin dog.
Yeah. And I think it's really funny.
Yeah, I like Mickey too. I just don't want them to bring back the actor now that these things have come to light.
I'm gonna, separate art from artist.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I think if they do a Unit show, they should separate it somehow from main Unit body. Yeah. So I wouldn't put Kate Stewart in it. I wouldn't. I mean, fine, you could have Osgood lead something if you want to. Maybe if they give her, this is great, right? The Unit bigwigs up top are like, great. Osgood's like a monster magnet. Let's send her as far away from Britain as possible. And that way you get an international feel for it. They're on a boat in the middle of the ocean.
You know what I think they should do as a spin-off show?
Oh, hang on, can I? Yeah. You go. I've got my pitch for you.
Class again, man. I think we need season 2 of Class.
I haven't even seen Class. It's meant to be rubbish.
I haven't seen it either. I just think it's funny when it exists. No, you know what I actually think they should do?
Make a full series of K9 and Company?
No, I think they should. I think they should have, Jo Grant. I think she's called. The actress who played Jo Grant in the third Doctor's era is relatively up and about and quite an enthusiastic person. She was in the end of Power of the Doctor, and I think they should have her come in with the kids from Sarah Jane Adventures and do that again.
You should have Jo Grant to replace Sarah Jane.
Yeah, different characters, obviously.
I
think
feel like you shouldn't. I feel like you couldn't ever top Sarah Jane.
I feel like we need a show for that audience again. I also think I would like to see the kids from Sarah Jane, just because I think it's time now.
I'm with you for another like kid-friendly Doctor Who show.
Yeah.
Maybe where the sci-fi thing isn't just Siri.
Yeah.
But I feel like you shouldn't touch. You should make it very different to Sarah Jane's Adventures, just because
Maybe.
I
I
don't think
just
you
kind of
can.
want to see those kids again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll follow Luke.
Yeah.
See what he's up. Okay.
I haven't seen much of Sarah Jane. I've just been watching it. I'm like, oh, I think it might be
It's a
nice.
good show. I quite like Sarah Jane.
My
It's
biggest
very
problem
kiddie
is,
though. Very
yeah,
very like CBBC.
I'm struggling to like get into it because it's like there's not the massive draw to what's the next episode, but then when I watch it, I quite enjoy it. I'm just like, this isn't made for me, and that's fine.
It also does suffer from the like CBBC voiceover at the beginning. It's like,
Yeah,
me and my dad have lived in London for this long, yada yada yada. But my neighbour's really weird. It's like there's shots of them like brightly coloured painting a wall and like slightly open. And it's like,
and they live on the same street that every show in CBBC main characters
do.
live on.
Yeah, I want to get like a master cut of like the cold open from like 5 different CBBC shows and see if you could tell the difference.
Anyway, not the point. Not the point.
So
you go
guys,
for
is
your
it the
pitch.
dumping ground or Sarah Jane? Yeah, sorry, my pitch. So
Yeah,
Captain Jack in Torchwood. So my pitch is Torchwood 2, right? That's what you
Okay.
call it. It's a
are we
sequel.
bringing back John Barrowman?
No.
Ooh.
So, because technically, John Barrowman is a part of Torchwood 3. There is a Torchwood 2.
Oh, I actually did want them. I do want them to do something with Torchwood 2.
So, you know where Torchwood 2 is?
Where is it again?
Edinburgh.
Oh God.
In Scotland. And here's why this is going to be a brilliant show.
Torchwood S&P edition.
Because, it's a great name because it's Torchwood 2 because it's the sequel to Torchwood, but it's about Torchwood 2. You have a team called... B, it gives you an excuse to look at Scotland. Doctor Who doesn't ever really go up there, and I feel like Scotland doesn't really have...
Because it's the BBC and they the government.
Yeah, but like Torchwood was really, really good for putting Wales on screen.
Yeah.
And promoting it internationally, and I think Scotland deserves a chance at that.
And
Edinburgh's like Edinburgh's a big yeah.
Oh,
like,
I'm gonna cross the border. It's like, shut up. Okay, you're not going into the US. It's not disgusting here. Sorry for any American viewers, but it's true.
Edinburgh deserves. It's a big city. I think
Edinburgh deserves
a lot of fun.
Right?
Yeah, and you could employ some Scottish actors and film on local. I think it would be a really good opportunity.
And it avoids John Barrowman, and you can have Gwen technically turn up.
I mean, yeah, you can have cameos from them all. I feel like
I don't know. You know, one thing I struggle with John Barrowman is like, would I bring him back or not? Because I know the allegations against him, but I think he's apologized for it, and he hasn't done it in like ages. But again, I may be wrong, viewers, because I don't really like to keep up with dramas like that because it makes me sad. But from my understanding of it, he hasn't done it in a while. And
I just wouldn't bring him back because he's old.
Oh.
And because he's meant to be playing a character who's immortal, and it's always weird when he shows up and he's like, you've clearly aged.
Maybe for Big Finish, they could bring him back.
They did. There's a Torchwood season 5 on Big Finish.
Yeah, I know, but the new Torchwood season releasing this year, they've cut him out of it, and I'm a bit... I don't know. I'd have to get up to date with the story.
Torchwood 2. Mostly because if you did a Torchwood 2, I'd really want them to visit Torchwood 4 and 5.
Is that 5?
There is a 5. So Torchwood 4 is in Ireland. Torchwood 5 allegedly is missing, I believe.
Cornwall!
But I want it to be the Cornwall one, just because I really want to see Cornish Torchwood. I think it would be amazing.
You want a pint of a pasty, mate?
No, I think it'd be great because they'd be like, it's in Truro, right? underneath Lemon Key.
Can you imagine if it's like in the basement of Waterstones or something?
If you go into the toilets in Waterstone's Truro and
Yes,
you
yes.
turn the handle 90 degrees, you open a secret passage. It takes you underneath the hall for Cornwall.
God,
I
that's why Colonel King is when he's not in a pantomime. He's in
Ca-
Torchwood.
No king runs.
Yeah, yeah.
You hire Ed Rowe, right, as himself, who just. Oh, I just think it'd be great. Like, even if they only showed up for one episode and they were like dealing with some sea monster,
spin-off
whatever.
show, Torchwood 5.
I so do. You know, because you
Spin-off
want
of the spin-off.
one episode, right? Because then you can get all the audio books.
Yeah. No, that'd be great.
And yes, Torchwood 5 needs to be found, and it's found in Cornwall, and I want them to do that. But Torchwood 2, because Scotland deserves it as well, and we're going to skip the English one because they've got to
Is the Irish one not going to get anything? Wow.
Sure, they can go to Ireland. I don't know. They can go to Ireland.
Racism again. The Scottish and the Welsh deserve the viewership, but not the Irish.
The Irish can have a Torchwood. They can. They'll just, I don't know, dealing with whatever happening in Ireland.
Wait. Why doesn't the Isles of Scilly get one?
What do you mean? Not everywhere gets a Torchwood. The Isle of Man should have one before the Isles of Scilly gets one.
Why?
Because this is a Celtic nation. There's 6 Celtic nations.
Okay.
Have you not heard this?
No.
Right. Hang on. So the Celtic nations are Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, the Isle of Man, and Brittany.
Where's
right?
Brittany?
In France.
Oh.
It's where all the Celts went. You know?
Okay.
And that's because
I don't want one in Brittany. I don't want them to be like eating baguettes and snails all the time. It's like
who's the racist one now? This is massive stereotype.
Whatever, mate. You were talking about the Wolf of Cornwall, so what do you want? You know?
No, it's a big building in the middle of Truro.
Right, and baguettes are a big part of French culture.
Anyway, you could have a French. It'd be funny actually to have a French torture because then you'd be linking like Doctor Who, which is a very British show, to French culture.
Yeah, as long as I wouldn't mind that. As long as Doctor Who never goes American to American.
They go American all the time.
Pardon?
They do America all the time. Like every series.
Yeah, but you know when the Paul
episode.
McGann movie was meant to start a Doctor Who in America show, and everyone, and it's like. But it failed, the movie. So I'm like, I'm so happy that didn't happen. I don't want American Doctor. Like, sorry.
There was I watched a sitcom.
Wait, is Shooty American?
He might be. I don't know.
Oh well.
No, he's Scottish. He's Scottish.
Oh, okay, good.
You mean okay, good?
I would have accepted it if it's Shooty, but yeah.
I watched a sitcom called Community, which is like about people in an American community college. And a running gag within the show is they have a version of Doctor Who called Inspector Spacetime.
Called America.
No. One of the characters is obsessed with Inspector Spacetime, and in it, they have a focus group to make an American version of Inspector Spacetime, and it's one of the funniest bits of like.
Why couldn't they have actually use Doctor Who though?
Because the licensing issue.
Oh, that's a shame.
Ultimately, I think it's better because they could make Inspector Spacetime kind of whatever they wanted. But it's a really funny bit, the like writers' room where they're like trying to work out how to make it more American. And one of the characters is quite like an old, quite rich and very American guy. Like your typical like he's like an older man. He's got quite old-fashioned views, and he.
Hold on. That sounds like stereotyping, Max.
Here's the character was what he was doing.
Okay,
all right. And he very funny. He just starts making these horrible suggestions. It's just so stupid.
You know one thing about RTD taking over, which makes me laugh so much.
What?
The whole the toxic fandom who got pissed off about Jodie Whittaker's era because it was a female doctor. You know, that side of the internet. But then what's happened now is they spent the whole time going Moffat's era and RTD's era was great. They weren't diverse at all, even though they were. But that's what that so toxic fandom have done. And now that RTD's taken over again, they've now decided RTD suck. Bloody woke again. And I just find it so funny because it's like these people have got such little grasp that suddenly they have to change their whole argument because they've been given what they want, but they'll lose their audience if they don't have something to be upset about.
Yeah.
One of the funniest ones which I saw was this guy saying RTD's back, which could be great, but it's still run by the BBC. So the way we'll tell if it's good or not is if the next Doctor isn't a straight white man, we better give up on the show. And I'm like, ooh, no, let's not do that.
That's funny. Yeah.
Anyway, not the point of the episode, but we have gone through all of the modern news, I believe, Max.
Gee, that was just the modern stuff.
There's less classic stuff. There's less classic stuff.
Hang on, wait. I haven't seriously sidetracked us yet. I need to get that back on. No, you go. I'll work out a way to just talk about something. Oh yeah, so Community, right?
Yeah.
The guy is played by Chevy Chase. Do you know Chevy Chase?
Don't think so.
He was like quite a big guy back in like I want to say 70s and 80s. Big American comedian.
Don't think so, but I might if I saw him.
Yeah. Keep going.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, that was that. No, that's fine. What didn't happen? I don't,
I thought you had more of a story, so I was like,
no, that was just that.
Okay.
Do you know Chevy Chase? No. Well.
Okay. So classic stuff. So Max, you may be aware because I told you. Last year it got announced that Doctor Who animation of missing episodes would no longer continue.
Yeah.
Yeah? You remember this?
I remember this.
Because BBC America, who are a separate entity to BBC Main, kind of, cut the funding for the animations. Because I believe all of the animations which have come out since Power of the Daleks were part of one contract, and the contract expired with the release of the Abominable Snowman. Still said it wrong, even though I tried it twice. Anyway, on DVD, so they didn't renew the contract, right? But there is a rumor going around that has been circulating by someone who I believe, I haven't fact checked this, but I believe this is the same guy who leaked out that Tennant and Catherine Tate were returning. So
right.
fairly.
It's not gonna.
The rumor is that they have found new funding for the animations at some point since losing it, and that this year they're going to be releasing the Smugglers animation, which is a season 4 first Doctor story, and the Underwater Menace, which is a season 4 second Doctor story, under animation on DVD again. So, any thoughts?
That's really cool. Yeah,
it would be nice.
I'm not really listening because I just found something incredible. But yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, I think that'd be nice. I'm a big fan of the whole animating the episodes that we've lost because it's important that we keep them alive.
Yeah, and the big thing about that is that will mean that that there'll only be one more story in season 4 left to be animated, and then we'd have a complete season 4, which is nice.
Whoa.
Which will be the first season, I think. Yeah, it will be. It'll be the first season to be completed from the lost episodes.
Right.
And I assumed the animation wasn't coming back because in the season 2 collection, there was a missing story in there, and they used telesnap reconstructions rather than animation. So I took that to mean because they're releasing that on Blu-ray, but there's no plans to resume animation. But maybe it's just that story, or maybe they just decided to release the collection and then they'll release the animation later. But yeah, it's quite nice. And for the 60th, for Patrick Troughton and a William Hartnell story.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So I just found something really, really, really funny.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Five Doctors?
Yes.
Have you heard of the Five-ish Doctors?
No.
Okay, this is. I was digging around. I thought, wonder what Carol Ann Ford, who played Susan.
She was in the Five Doctors, wasn't she?
She was, yes. I
haven't
wanted to
seen
know.
the Five Doctors.
She
But,
was in
yeah.
it, I believe, but I wanted to know, what's
What's she up to?
Yeah, she was in the Five Doctors.
Yeah.
And I thought that's pretty cool. Once it was going on, she there's and I discovered this around the time of the Day of the Doctor release. They made they made a a short half an hour comedy spoof called The Five-ish Doctors Reboot, written by Peter Davidson.
Oh God, the Fifth Doctor, right?
Yep, and directed. It stars him.
Yep.
Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker, and Paul McGann.
Nice.
It also features appearances from Matt Smith and Jenna Coleman, as well as David Tennant and John Barrowman.
That's more than Five Doctors, then.
And Stephen Moffat and Russell Davis.
What, they turn up in the episode?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
The episode is about Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy trying to sneak onto the set of the 50th anniversary so they can be in it.
Oh, and Paul McGann would be there because of the short he made.
I think I just. Yeah.
I mean, technically they were in the episode, but what?
I
wouldn't count it, really. So Carol.
Pardon?
Carol Ann Ford's in the Five-ish Doctors.
Carol Ann Ford is in this. Sean Pertwee's in this. Olivia Colman.
Sean Pertwee has been playing the second Doctor in Big Finish.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Janet Fielding, as in Tegan. Oh, hang on. This is
the Power of the Doctor before the Power of the Doctor, eh?
This is so Paul McGann appears. They discuss inviting Tom Baker, but he's revealed to be stuck in the time vortex again.
And Tom Baker was in the episode, but they wouldn't have known that.
No. That's a very old joke. Tom Baker didn't show up to be in the Five Doctors.
Didn't he?
No, they filmed his intro bit where he was going to be in it, and then he just didn't show up to filming.
Really? That surprises me, because Tom Baker's been quite active.
Yeah, but I think he was just fed up. I think initially after leaving, he was ousted by the BBC initially.
That hasn't been confirmed. I know that.
He doesn't like the BBC floor.
No. Have you heard? Sorry, go on. Yes.
Anyway, it's very funny, because they say he's stuck in the time vortex, which was their whole scheme for why the Fourth Doctor didn't show up.
I need to watch that. Is it on YouTube?
I think it's on the Doctor Who website. I just found it, and it's all. But then there's oh my goodness, there's Ian McKellen's in this.
Ian McKellen's in the Power of the Doctor, and he's 98, mate. Did you know Ian McKellen? Oh,
Ian McKellen, the Gandalf.
Gandalf, yes. Sorry, thinking something.
Not Ian the.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God! There's. What the heck is this? Oh, I've got to see this thing now. No, I've got to see this.
Let's finish the episode out.
Peter Jackson's in this?
Peter Jackson?
The director of Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway.
I oh, I've got a. Oh, hang on. I need a minute just to process this.
Max needs to contain himself.
Georgia
He's having
Tennant.
to-
Yes,
Who is?
Georgia Tennant. I. You. Nick, what? Tamsin Dew, companion to the Eighth Doctor in audio dramas.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Katie Manning
The
played
Eighth
Jo
Doctor
Grant.
is-
Louise Jameson played Leela.
Yeah.
Deborah Victoria. We got Victoria Wakefield, Ace, Nissa, Romana 2, K9, Polly.
God, they
Polly.
got. How long is this? This
I think they might just have cameos. Adric shows up.
Adric.
The guy who plays Adric. Adric, the worst actor
Yeah.
in Doctor Who.
Is he?
Ian McKellen. Oh, because Ian McKellen is the Great Intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Completely underused.
Wow. Yeah. John Barrowman has a secret family. Ty Tennant, adopted son of David Tennant. Barry Edward, nice and peg. David Troughton, son of Patrick Troughton.
Oh, nice.
Nicholas Briggs. Frank Skinner. Russell T Davis. Sorry, yes. Go finish the episode. What were you talking about?
We were talking about Tom Baker being roused from the BBC. So I wanted to bring up a slight tangent. You know Colin Baker?
Yeah.
You know he was fired?
No.
Well, after Tom Baker left, Doctor Who ratings and viewership took a plunge, and then they took further plunge. Doctor. So then they blamed the actor Colin Baker. So then they had him fired from the role.
Yeah.
And what's quite funny about it is because he was pissed off at the BBC because they literally killed. By the way, his doctor drank carrot juice in the episode and then just regenerates. So as far as we know, the Sixth Doctor dies from carrot juice.
Yep.
Because Colin Baker was really peed off with the BBC, he didn't turn up to do the regeneration scene. So they got Sylvester McCoy in a Colin Baker wig for the regeneration. And it's just the funniest thing. But also, I saw this really sad interview with Colin Baker. It was after they told him he was leaving, but before they'd announced it to the public. And it was this show where fans could call in to ask him questions. And one of them asked him if he had the TARDIS, what would he do? And he says, what I would do is I'd go back in time 2 years to when I first joined Doctor Who, because I've enjoyed it so much and I've enjoyed talking to people like you so much, but I just want to do it again. And that breaks my heart, man. Poor Colin Baker.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if I brought this up to you ever, Solomon, but I met him.
What, Colin Baker?
Yeah, met Colin Baker.
How have you not brought this up to me?
I did. I always talk about this. Like, he was at
No, you've literally never mentioned it. I would remember it.
I met Colin Baker. Yeah.
We'd be much better friends if you told me this beforehand.
Hey, I mean, there are some things that you're like, should I tell Solomon this? No.
Did you get like a picture with him?
Nope.
Autograph or anything?
Nope.
Wow.
He was at so without wanting to like dox where we live,
yeah.
He was at a convention that I went to. Local convention.
The one which you always try and get me to go to.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I need to go to that one this year.
He was just sitting there.
Really? He came down for this convention?
Yeah, he was there. He was by the woman who played Holly in Red Dwarf.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know they had such big players at this convention. I thought
we had a nice chat. I didn't get an autograph because they was charging like 15 quid for them.
I'd pay it.
I probably would pay it now, but back then I didn't. But yeah, he said hello to my dog. And then I had a brief interaction. I was very nervous and didn't really want to talk to him.
So he didn't talk to you. He just talked to your dog.
He did. I said I had like a really awkward. Like usually I'm really good at talking to people, and I just had like a I really like Doctor Who, and he said we were a team because I'd watch it and he'd make us. So that's pretty cool. And then I like had to leave because I was embarrassing myself in front of Colin Baker. But we
Are
had
you sure? You
a
sure
really
he
a
didn't?
really awkward chat.
You sure he wasn't talking to you the whole time, but he was just being really condescending. So it's like, who's a good boy? This is
No,
the dog.
he's a really good guy. I like him. You should meet him.
Oh,
I'll introduce
I
you
should
to
meet him.
my good friend Colin Baker.
Does he come down every year for this convention?
I don't know. Don't think so.
Because it'd be pretty awesome if he did.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
we have other classic Who news. 2 bits left. Okay, so we've talked about it a little bit here. We've got the Doctor Who the collection range. The next one has been confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Any predictions?
It'll be another one of Tommy's series, won't it?
No,
He did that.
you're
Oh, is it
wrong.
not?
No, it is season 9, John Pertwee's 3rd season.
Oh,
The 3rd of his seasons out of the 5. He's now had 3 of his seasons collected on Blu-ray as of March. So that's
pretty
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah. So that means because season 8, which I have, and season 10 have already been released on the collection. So that fills in that gap, which is quite nice.
Hang on, sorry, I've got a fun fact about the 5 Doctors, sort of.
God.
Sorry. John Hurt has his voice can be heard in it. He's not in it, but they used archive footage.
Are you just reading through the trivia on this website?
Yep. And Peter Davidson originally wrote a part for Tom Baker, but
he didn't turn up.
He didn't reply to his emails.
He's like, I was busy, man. All right.
Yeah, I think. Oh, and Gemma Redgrave, who plays Kate Stewart, was in it.
Oh, she's been in everything.
No, it was cut from the Day of the Doctor because the plot is around them trying to break into that. So Hurt and her are from. So John Hurt and and Gemma Redgrave are both in it because they took a bit of the test for Day of the Doctor and played that.
Have you heard about the original script for Day of the Doctor?
No, I haven't.
Do you want to have any wild predictions about what the original premise was? It's quite funny.
Okay, let's have a look then. What's the weirdest thing they could have done? Okay, so at this point, the issue was he was going to die, and that and they needed an out for that. Really,
for who?
It's Matt Smith, right?
Yeah.
What did they do? He's not dying yet. It's not the Christmas one. I say, does the original premise involve 3 Doctors or does it not?
It does not.
It does not. Okay, this is interesting. What would my Okay, it'll have the Daleks in it.
I believe so.
I think that they pull a like the end of his first series. All of his enemies team up, and he has to go. Then they're all like, "We're sick of you," and he.
You think they did another Pandora?
I think they did like a Pandora thing, but like they actually do something this time instead of all just stand there.
Don't even diss the ending of season 5. It was brilliant.
Yeah, but like there's like all my enemies, blah 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 blah. All the list like a bunch of aliens, some of which aren't even his enemies, by the way.
You know, one of them's the Blowfish from Torchwood.
Yeah. You know, one of them's also the Draconians.
Yeah, but
who are just not
Starfish.
Sports carfish.
And the Weevils were there.
The Weevils were there?
Yeah.
The Weevils have a hierarchy?
They were just pulling off any costumes they could get. Anyway, you're wrong.
Do you think Matt Smith is king of the Weevils?
Yes. But you're wrong about
what was it?
The premise for Day of the Doctor. It actually had 0 doctors in it.
What? What?
The original premise. Because Stephen Moffat was in a situation where Matt Smith's contract had ended, and he didn't have any, and a bunch of the other doctors weren't answering his emails, so he had to write a temporary script in case he couldn't get any doctors, where basically Clara would travel around space and time, taking on the Doctor's worst enemies.
That sounds horrible. I mean,
so
he
that's what
basically
Stephen
did.
Moffat thought too.
Yeah, he basically did that anyway with the next series, but you know,
No, he didn't.
he totally did. I mean, what?
I like Clara, man.
Do
Clara
you
gets
like
too much
Clara?
hate.
Clara sucks. Clara's
Wow,
annoying.
wow.
She's not as bad
And
as people say she is. Like everyone thinks she's like pure evil, but
yeah.
she's just irritating.
Anyway, yeah, that was his original premise. So awesome. Anyway, so Doctor Who season 9, the collection. Is you happy about that? Filling in the gap between season 8 and 10.
Yay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That has it's got the original Sea Devils on it. It has a Master Story. It has the Doctor working for UNIT. It has Dave the Daleks. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. So yeah, pretty cool. And then last bit of classic news, and I think you'll have much more to say about this one, so I left it to last because I'm sneaky. This came out with the same time as the animated rumor from the same guy. Is that they will be re-airing a couple of the 60s episodes on TV on BBC One for the 60th, including the first episode of An Unearthly Child, but digitally colorized. So
Oh, yeah.
and I can expect you having some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I do actually. Um, that is really weird. Why would... Okay.
I feel like you'd be against this.
I... I've watched
Uh,
digitally colorized things before. I have a collection of Laurel and Hardy. You know Laurel and Hardy?
yeah. I think I've watched some of that collection with you.
They're very funny. A lot of their stuff is a bit dated nowadays, but most of it is fine and very funny.
Yeah,
And a couple of the episodes in it, they have been digitally recolorized. Obviously, the technology is much better now, but I kind of
yeah.
think I get it. I don't know why you would.
New audience to the classic stuff is my big pro for it.
Oh yeah, I think what's happening is the BBC is worried that if they air a black and white show on TV now, people won't watch it.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they think everyone's afraid of black and white, right? It's the modern era.
yeah,
People don't want to go near it.
yeah.
I think it's why WandaVision had such a hard time getting through the studio, right?
And it's also why a few people dropped off WandaVision in the first couple episodes.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I think
because of
it's
black and white.
I think it's really silly because black and white cinema is its own. It is how we used to make it,
Yeah,
and it's not bad because it's black and white. Some of the best, some really really good films are black and white, and I
and
think
I saw this thing when they said you can actually be more creative with color in black and white than in full colorized, like with lighting and stuff.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
more creative. Yeah,
It's definitely a different way of doing it. So the whole film noir movement, right?
yeah,
That wouldn't really have worked. It does work. You can do it in color, but it's a very stylized black and white thing because of that. And
mm.
I wouldn't go around. The original creators didn't intend it to be in color, so I
I
don't
wouldn't want
know.
it to become a habit. Like,
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of re-airing the first episode of Doctor Who on TV for the 60th, but in color, I'm like, I could. I see both sides of the argument, and I've seen the first episode in black and white, and it doesn't bug me watching it in black and white. But I also know some people despise black and white.
I don't understand what the problem is with a black and white thing. I think it's fine.
It's like when people don't like to watch things with subtitles. It's just a bit. Mm. Some people have
Yeah.
their preferences, which is valid. But yeah, it does. I don't see the need for it, but I'm not gonna like riot about it. I won't like care that much if they decide to do it. I will watch.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd watch it?
Yeah, we'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. I feel that yeah, I feel that I wouldn't keep that as the better version of it. I don't think they're
Yeah.
improving anything. They're making it more marketable, they're making it more likely so that people will watch it.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that the Doctor Who has been recolorized. The third Doctor episodes were missing, and then the only versions they could find of it was black and white versions. So that was recolorized. But the difference there is that was always intended to be in color, and black and white was just for international release.
Yeah.
So that's different to me.
I'm with you. I think you're changing the original source format, and I just ultimately it's the same conclusion that I came to with Laurel and Hardy, which is just that it doesn't add anything to it in the end.
Yeah, and then you've also got the fact that missing episodes are being done in colored black and black and white animation.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. With the animated side, I understand why you'd make it in color because you have the control of how it looks. You are the cinematographer. I don't know how much of a script they had or a shooting script of how shot by shot if they've got a storyboard, but you are the designer, you are the cinematographer, you are the lighting, you get to choose all of this stuff.
Yeah.
You are the director. You are everything except the writer. And I feel like you do a lot of the camera people and a lot of that a disservice by making the stuff in color unnecessarily because it's not what they were going for.
Yeah. And animation is different as well in the sense of, if you're recolorizing episodes which still exist, that's changing something which is already there. But the animations, sure, they use the same audio, but that's been made by a whole different team as well. Like, you can't just credit a Doctor Who animation to the original 1960s team because it's almost a different vision of the same script in a way. It's never going to be identical, is it?
So, and I don't think it should be because
no, and they do take creative liberties with the animation as well.
Yeah.
Like they make the sets probably look better than they would have done in the original, quite possibly. Because if there's a mistake in the set in the original, they're not going to replicate that for the animation because there'd just be no point. But then, why would you? It's just weird to me. It's just weird.
It's a different format, right? The point with the animations is that it's a way to tell the story in a video form, but you're not trying to be the original episode. You're trying to tell it as an animated thing. Yeah. Anyway, we are running out of time.
Yes, we will wrap.
You have cut out.
So goodbye.
You cut out. You got to do it again. Do it again. You got to do it again.
Damn it. Okay. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Hang on, wait. You cut out again. Do it again.
You having me on?
I can neither confirm nor deny that accusation.
This was Maybe It's Buddies. We're going. Bye.
We're going.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our show. We hope you found us interesting, or at least so-so. You've heard us talk together about whatever's on our minds. We apologize the conversation was not more streamlined. We hope you'll stick around for our next upload, but there's one thing you should take away from this episode. Maybe, just maybe, it's Bunny. It's Bunny. There's always a possibility that it's Bunny. It's Bunny. You can never rule out the possibility that it might be Bunny. It's Bunny. You should consider that maybe it's Bunny.